Okay, guys, I'm going to be helping you with this article, which you will need for your part of your graduation part. I'm going to read it to you. You can come up with a 3-sentence summary, and you're going to tell what you liked about this source, why does this source connect to your life, why or why not, yada yada, and that will be, and you'll put the name of the article right here. All right, so the importance and benefits of diversity. Now, before I even start this, what I did is I took this article from here, and if you'll notice, this was written by a Sarah Tinas, who at the time was only 14 or 15 years old, and she wrote this back in May 2014. A lot of things have happened since 2014 that may have persuaded her differently. But if you look at the very bottom of this, it gives you comments. This is the comment from her. I said, I find it funny to come back here to read some of the comments to a paper I wrote when I was only 14 or 15, to have it re-edited so that I could post it here when I was 17. I'm now 25. My viewpoint on a lot of things have changed. So people commenting in 2017 would definitely view this as me being naive, which means not smart about the world, because I wrote it when I didn't really know anything, or rather enough, about the world. But to say is it ridiculous is a long shot. And if you'll go to this site, you can get, there's a lot of people that have made comments, and some of them have some pretty good comments. So you might want to check those out. So let's get to the reading of this. And what I also did for you is I put this, I rewordified it so that all the definitions of all the words that you may not know are on the side. So if you hear me say a word, you can look over here and see what the meaning of the word is. And now we will officially begin. Diversity can be defined as people coming together with different races, nationalities, religions, and sexes to form a group, organization, or community. A diverse organization is one that values the difference in people. It is one that recognizes that people with different backgrounds, skills, attitudes, and experiences bring fresh ideas and perceptions. Diverse organizations encourage and harness or control these differences to make their services relevant and approachable. Diverse organizations draw upon the wildest possible range of views and experiences so it can listen to and meet the changing needs of its users. Here's the thesis statement. The encouragement of diversity benefits society. So her paper is supposed to prove that diversity is a positive thing for society. In society today, most people view diversity as a good thing because it gives people the chance to experience different things outside of what they are normally accustomed to. Diversity in America is openly viewed as a beneficial bacterium, so it's a good germ. So many backgrounds and not knowing which ones are good and which ones are bad. Diversity as a wide component is a tricky thing to use and understand because it has both negative and positive effects on society, such as education, violence, and employment. Now, give you a heads up, she spent most of her time on education. She threw a couple of lines in for violence and did a little bit for employment, but her biggest focus is on education. People have to dig deep to figure out what exactly the effects will be in the end and be patient to wait and see. Studies show that the lack of cohesion, that means sticking together, between races, sexes, and culture is due to mistrust, stereotyping, and more within culture, conversation, and language problems. I thought that was a pretty important statement because she's right on the nose about that people of different races, sexes, and cultures have a harder time sticking together because they mistrust each other and they stereotype each other. Stereotyping is you make assumptions, you make guesses about a group of people because you knew one or two people that were this way. You assume anybody that was like them is going to act the same way. So if you assume that everybody who wears pants down, who wears their baggy pants and show their underwear, if you think they're all criminals, then if you see a really nice guy with pants down by his and showing off his underwear, you might just assume he's a criminal because you have that mental picture of baggy pants and criminals, and that may not be the truth. So that's what's stereotyping, and we stereotype people um, by the way they dress, by the way they look, um, and sometimes, and it's sad to say, by their race, and that's not right. When these problems are not paid attention to, it may lead to an inability to endorse ideas, the inability to gain agreement on decisions, and the inability to take united action. So when we don't deal with this race, the the pushback on diversity, we don't pull that together, then that's going to make it harder for us to move forward as a group, a society. In the educational system, it is very important that there is a wide array of diverse groups in the classroom. It is important to have a diverse student body, not only to create a realistic setting, but also to encourage people to grow outside their boundaries and learn something new about a culture they may not be familiar with. By accomplishing this in the classroom, you can avoid child unawareness and actually enlighten them about other things that go on around them with people they may be friends with or know. Another factor is a less diverse student population is bullying. That sentence is not built upon, and it's a little crazy. It's a little um, not worded nicely. She's only 14 or 15 when she wrote this. The different aspects of diversity are very important. People of diverse racial and ethnic backgrounds have been an integral part of Penn State School of Nursing for many years. Our history of diversity one. From so much, from so small to something bigger, diversity plays a major role everywhere today. In some colleges, diversity has been around for many years, regardless of what social, racial, and ethnic differences there were. Children exposed to diverse cultures in the classroom learn to understand different points of view. I highlighted that because that might be a really good quote you might want to use on your paper, which is an important part of education. This can sum up why diversity in the classroom is such an important part of a child's development. By the child being exposed to diverse cultures, the child can get a better understanding of why the child dresses this way, acts that way, or eats this or that. The result is that children will question their own beliefs and understand how their own culture influences the way they see the world. I don't necessarily agree with this statement incomplete. I do think that children um, will learn to see other cultures and accept them as natural. It's not going to necessarily make them question their own beliefs. It just means that they're going to be more aware and accepting of different beliefs other than just their own. They realize that there's more than just that one belief. Um, but I do agree that seeing other cultures and seeing how those cultures um, require you to act, that you can understand your own culture. You can start seeing, well, that's why I do this. This is my culture. So I do agree with that part of the sentence. Diversity can create curiosity by being exposed to different people and cultures. A student may want to learn more about a particular group, which can give them insight into how and why things work as they do, and possibly a way to change them for the better. For some students, being in a diverse school or college can prepare them for the real world, where they can take a stance on a subject and be able to voice their opinion from an informed point of view. It enhances America's economic competitiveness. So this is the economic part. Let's highlight that part. on the importance everyone has something unique about them to bring to the table. And with everyone's strengths being used together, they can make anything better. One single person can't always do things alone. And with the different talents of a diverse community, something with potential can be strengthened. Overall, diversity in the student bodies, faculties, and staff is important for them to fulfill their primary mission, providing a quality education. A quality education does not come without learning something about race, religion, and culture, or what is expected and what is not. Having a diverse school setting is beneficial because you learn more and so operate in the real world with a better view and understanding. So basically, what she's saying is that if you if you're in a school, and luckily for us, we're at Westwood, that has diverse cultures, you can kind of get an understanding of how in some cultures you don't look people straight in the eyes. In some cultures, you do look them straight in the eyes, and you can accept those differences and work together. And also, uh, different cultures have different ways of doing things, and maybe putting those different ways of doing things together can make that thing a better thing. Okay. Diversity is not being encouraged throughout America. In fact, some cultures would rather have contact only within that family or race, or even that religion. Some people are not persuaded that their children need to be in a diverse setting or experience one. In today's global society, without any prior knowledge of other people, when a person actually gets out in the real world, they're often struck with a limited view of the world and what to expect. In reality, the workplace has every gender, ethnic group, and religion. It is like saying if you say the wrong thing, you may think it's funny, and others will find it offensive. So what she's trying to say, is that being exposed to different cultures, you're a little bit more mindful of what you're saying that might be offensive to others. And she is right that there are some, I mean, you think of the Amish people um, totally block out the secular world. And there's another part of it that keep going. Learning about other countries and other cultures is part of the public school curriculum. Having children from other countries and cultures in the classroom can be a positive experience for teachers and students. It is proven that by valuing diversity, organizations bring benefits to the people they work with, their local communities, as well as to themselves. Society is diverse just because of the existence of people. There are differences even within the same group. For example, 1 in 5 adults and 1 in 20 children are disabled some way. So being disabled is a way of being diverse. 1 in 12 people are from Black and minority ethnic backgrounds, and figures rise to 1 in 8 of under 16 years old. 1 in 20 people who have a religious belief belong to a faith community other than Christianity. 1 in 4 people are under 16, and 1 in 6 are under 65. So we have diversity can be age, it can be religion, it could be ethnic background, um, it could be abilities or disabilities. Diversity is not always just what background you come from, but it is also but it is any unique differences between human beings. Diversity includes physical appearance, religious beliefs, and a race, but your opinions and thoughts and the impact they make on society are also part of diversity. We learn from people who have different experiences, beliefs, and perspectives on things. Diversity enriches the educational experience. By hearing different opinions from people who you may not totally agree with, they can possibly persuade you to their side or at least get you to understand what their argument is really about. Diversity promotes personal growth and a healthy society. Diversity changes stereotypes in communities. What people once thought, they can easily be changed and can bring the community much closer because of it. It strengthens communities and workplaces. So if you get to know somebody who's of a different culture and you find your similarities, then that makes you a stronger community. That I do agree with that. An approach to understanding diversity is, and if you'll notice, I highlighted that. That's a good quote you might want to use. Similarity on attributes such as attitudes, values, and beliefs will help happen interpersonal attractions and likings and vice versa. So let me just explain this a little bit because this is a really good point too. Newcomb's theory of social attraction. So people are going to naturally be attracted to people that have the same set of values, that have the same set of beliefs, the same set of attitudes. You hang out, birds of a feather flock together. That's true. You're naturally attracted to each other. But, and it's a good thing. That's a good thing. But you also want to include in your group people that are a little bit different, get to expand your boundaries. Diversity may be beneficial, but it does not work if people take a liking to others that are okay, just like them, having to do with race, attitudes, views, and beliefs. So social attraction is definitely true, but we need to push our boundaries and and get to know other cultures and other people. Let's see. I lost my place. Oops. I'm sorry. In his classic research on cultural diversity, Harry C. Triandis found that members of culturally dissimilar groups were less likely to be attracted to one another and had more difficulty communicating with each other than members of culturally homogeneous groups did. So, different cultural groups will find it slightly uncomfortable to talk about what they celebrate and believe in because the other person does not share the same beliefs as they do. It makes it harder for them to talk, and often they feel like they're being judged because it is something that would not normally interest them or does not interest any other cultural background. So, this is the this right here is the mountain you have to climb to create that cohesive, diverse community. You have to get past the the fear of sharing your beliefs, sharing your culture, uh, for fear of being judged. You know, um, one study has revealed that immigration and diversity does not reduce social capital between ethnic groups, but also within groups themselves. This means that regardless of ethnic background, diversity is often affected within smaller groups. Even communication between the members in the same group is affected. They are not as willing to talk openly about certain things because they think people cannot relate to them, would not understand, or cannot be trusted. The problem is not ethnic conflict or troubled racial relations, but withdrawal and isolation. There are people that live in more diverse settings that tend to keep to themselves more and shut everyone out. Putnam says people in diverse communities tend to withdraw even from close friends, to expect the worst from the community and its leaders, to volunteer less, give less to charity, and work on community projects less often, to register to vote less, to agitate for social reform more, but have less faith in they can actually make a difference, and to huddle unhappily in front of a television. So diversity can affect a person in a negative way. For example, a person may start to feel if they cannot turn to close friends or family because they do not hold the same traditions as everyone else. And since they're different, there's not anyone they can express themselves to. So instead of communicating with others, they would rather bottle it up and settle with being unhappy and withdraw from the general society. Okay, so this is a theory, and she's going to debunk it. So she's given the contrasting opinion that diversity, having too much diversity makes people withdraw into themselves, is what she's saying. Most authorities tend to disagree with this. They believe that diversity is more beneficial to society than it is harmful. From multicultural festivals to pronouncements from political leaders, the message is the same. Our differences make us stronger. That's a good line. Let's copy that. Let's highlight that. Our differences make us stronger. Diversity is the many differences that different backgrounds hold. Within these backgrounds are differences that make and improve people. We should celebrate the differences and learn to work together. Okay, so let's go back over here to our, you're going to put over here the importance and benefits. And benefits of diversity. So you want to do a 3-sentence summary, okay? And what's the topic? The topic is diversity. What is being said about diversity? Okay, so what is the topic? What is said? What was the main message? And you might want to choose a few quotes that you may want to use, okay? That's what I would put in this box right here. And then, so for me, I agreed with, what was her name again? Sarah Tennis. Agreed with Sarah Tennis. Diversity makes us stronger. But there were some parts I didn't agree with. But she made some statements. Now you may not, you may have a different opinion, but this is, she made some statements I didn't, and then I would probably tell. And then does this connect? Living at going to school at Westwood, we live in a very diverse. So that's that one, and I'm going to end it here so that you can pick and choose when you want to go to the next one. And I'm going to try to do one from each section.